Level 1. The Invisible Creator. You're 15 years old. The channel has 12 subscribers. Your latest video has 23 views. You know the exact number because you've checked it 40 times today. To everyone else, it's an embarrassing hobby. To you, it's the beginning of something you can't yet explain. Your studio isn't a studio. It's your bedroom, a phone leaning against a stack of textbooks because you can't afford a tripod, a ceiling fan that ruins half your audio, a window that blows everything out of focus when a car passes outside. You record at midnight because that's the only hour the house is quiet enough. The first video takes 6 hours to make. It's 4 minutes long. You upload it and sit there waiting. Nothing happens. No comments, no subscribers, no sudden wave of views, just silence and a blinking cursor. So you make another one, then another. You think YouTube is about making videos. Then you discover it's actually about solving problems. Why did people leave after 20 seconds? Why did nobody click the thumbnail? Why does one video die at 18 views while another crawls to 50? Every answer creates a new question. Every question pulls you deeper into the platform. Most creators quit here, not because YouTube is too difficult, because improvement is invisible at this stage. You can spend 3 weeks getting meaningfully better without gaining a single subscriber. But then, one night, something small happens. A stranger leaves a comment. Good video. 2 words. Completely ordinary words. But you stare at them for a long time. Because for the first time, proof exists. Someone you have never met, in a city you may never visit, watched something you created and decided it was worth 2 words of their time. The feeling is impossible to explain to anyone who hasn't felt it. And from that moment, you're no longer just uploading videos. You're chasing something. You don't have a word for it yet, but it's already changing how you think. Level 2. The Algorithm Student. You're 17 now. The channel has 800 subscribers, a number that once felt unreachable. You still aren't making money, but something has shifted. Comments arrive regularly. People recognize your profile picture. Viewers ask when the next video is coming. For the first time, expectations exist outside your own head, and expectations create a pressure that hobby making never did. You become obsessed with understanding the platform, not watching it, studying it. Every successful video becomes a case study. Every viral thumbnail becomes a design problem to reverse engineer. You start noticing patterns that casual viewers never see. Certain title structures appear again and again across completely different niches. Certain thumbnail compositions stop the scroll every time. Certain opening lines make it impossible to leave. You realize these creators aren't getting lucky. They're following systems. Invisible systems that took years to develop, but systems nonetheless. This discovery changes how you work. You stop making videos by feel and start making them by logic. One thumbnail tested against another. One hook structure tested against another. Some experiments fail immediately. Others surprise you in ways you didn't predict. A video you almost didn't upload gets 4 times more views than anything before it. You don't celebrate. You open the analytics and try to understand why. Because that's the difference between a creator and a student of the craft. One uploads and hopes. The other uploads, watches what happens, and adjusts. Then comes a small sponsorship offer. A company wants to pay you a little money to mention their product. The amount doesn't matter. What matters is the sentence attached to it. Someone believes your audience is valuable enough to pay for access to it. That belief, from a stranger, about something you built, hits differently than any view count ever has. You accept. Not because of the money, because crossing that line means the channel is no longer a hobby pretending to be something more. It's becoming something more, and that realization brings a question that will follow you for years. What if this is actually the thing? Level 3, the first viral video. You're 19 years old. The channel has 6,000 subscribers. Growth has been steady, consistent but unremarkable. Until one Tuesday. You upload a video that feels like the others. Same process, same effort, same uncertainty before you hit publish. At first, the numbers look normal. Then something strange happens. The views don't plateau. They accelerate. 1,000, 3,000. 8,000. You refresh the page thinking it's a display error. It isn't. You go to sleep with 15,000 views. You wake up with 60,000. Your phone won't stop. Comments arrive faster than you can read them. Subscribers appear in real time. People are sharing it, reacting to it, arguing in the comments about it. The algorithm has noticed you. And the experience is unlike anything the channel has produced before. For a few days, life feels altered. You walk through your ordinary routine, knowing that while the world was sleeping, tens of thousands of people were watching something you made in your bedroom. The video crosses 200,000 views, then 400,000. You feel like the game has changed permanently. Then, the next video goes up, and the view count collapses. Hard. Back to normal. Back to before. Back to the numbers you'd been fighting against for 2 years. The spike is gone, like it was never there. And suddenly you're staring at a truth that viral moments never warn you about. One viral video doesn't make you successful. It only introduces you to the idea of success. Staying there is a completely different challenge. Most creators become addicted to the spike. They spend years chasing that same lightning strike, making content that's increasingly desperate, increasingly hollow. But the spike taught you something they missed. You go back to the analytics. Why did people click that thumbnail? Why did they stay through that specific section? Why did they share that video and not the one before it? The answers become the foundation. Because virality is a weather event. Systems are a career. And you're done waiting for weather. Level 4, the attention engineer. You're 21 years old. The channel has crossed 100,000 subscribers. A silver play button arrives in the mail. For years, that thing existed as a symbol of somewhere you might one day arrive. Now it's sitting on your desk. Cold, heavy, real. You hold it for a while. Then you set it down and open your analytics. Because the next video still has to perform. This is the thing success doesn't tell you before you reach it. It doesn't end the work. It raises the standard. You become obsessed with audience retention. Not views, not subscriber counts. Retention. Because you've learned something most creators at your level still haven't understood. A click gets attention. Retention keeps it. And the platform rewards kept attention more than it rewards generated attention. You spend hours inside the retention graphs. Every dip becomes a crime scene. Every spike becomes a clue. Why did viewers leave at exactly 2 minutes and 14 seconds? Why did the average view duration jump when you changed your editing pace? Why did that specific transition hold people when everything around it didn't? The videos get tighter, not more produced, tighter, faster, cleaner, more intentional. Every second earns its place or gets cut. The audience can't explain why your videos feel different now. They just know they do. The results follow. 100,000 becomes 300,000. 300,000 becomes 600,000. You're not wondering anymore whether YouTube can work. You're starting to wonder how far it goes. And that question leads directly to the most terrifying decision you've ever had to make. Level 5, the full-time gamble. You're 23 years old. The channel is earning real money, consistent sponsorships, AdSense that covers rent, deals that would have seemed fictional 3 years ago. For the first time, YouTube pays more than a traditional job would. And that fact forces the question into the open. Do you go all in? Everyone has an opinion. Your parents want stability. Your friends want certainty. Comments want results. But opinions are free. The person who lives with the consequences is you. Only you. One afternoon, you make the decision. No backup. No safety net. No second option kept quietly open. Just this. The first few months feel electric. You wake up and the only job is to make the channel better. Every improvement immediately affects your income. Every mistake immediately affects your future. That kind of accountability sharpens you faster than any amount of part-time effort ever could. But the pressure also reveals things the hobby version of this never exposed. You discover that making videos is only a fraction of the actual job. You're now negotiating contracts, reviewing terms from sponsors who know more about contracts than you do, managing tax obligations that nobody in any YouTube tutorial ever explained, handling the business of being a business while simultaneously trying to be creative. The creator has become a company, and companies without systems collapse under their own weight. So you build them. Workflows, schedules, processes for things you used to handle by memory. For the first time, you're not just producing content. You're building a machine capable of producing it reliably. Because reliability is what separates a channel from a career. Level 6, the recognized name. You're 26 years old. The channel passes 1 million subscribers. 7 digits. People recognize you in public now. Creators you watched when you were learning recognize your name. Companies reach out first. Opportunities arrive faster than you can evaluate them. From the outside, this is what making it looks like. But inside, a different problem has appeared. The problem that success creates when you stop paying attention. the illusion that you figured it out. Many creators arrive at 1 million and quietly stop learning. The content becomes predictable. The energy becomes routine. The audience senses it before the creator does. You've watched it happen to people you respected. You refuse to let it happen to you. So you become a student again. Not of YouTube mechanics this time, of the deeper thing underneath YouTube. Human behavior. Why people click. Why they stay. Why they trust. Why they share something with someone they care about. You study storytelling, psychology, the architecture of attention at its most fundamental level. You realize that YouTube was never really about videos. It was always about understanding people. The channel evolves again. Not louder, deeper. The audience stops feeling like a number. It starts feeling like a community. People don't just watch your videos. They wait for them, defend them in comment sections, recommend them to people they love, and trust, real trust, built over years of showing up and not disappointing, turns out to be worth more than any single viral moment. Views can evaporate overnight. Trust survives algorithm changes. Trust survives bad months. Trust survives mistakes. You've built something that can survive. Now you have to decide what to build with it. Level 7, the media company. You're 30 years old, 5 million subscribers. A number your brain has genuinely stopped being able to feel. But the number isn't the biggest change. The biggest change is this. You are no longer running a channel. You're running an operation. Editors, designers, researchers, a manager for the things that used to fall through the cracks. People whose rent depends on decisions you make. A single video now involves 10 people and a budget that would have funded your first 2 years of equipment. The responsibility is a different weight than any you've carried before. When a video underperforms, it's not just your income that takes the hit. That's the part nobody talks about when they describe building a team. You launch additional channels, new formats, new audiences, new bets placed with real stakes attached. Some work, some don't. The ones that don't teach you things, the ones that work never could. The audience follows you across platforms not because the algorithm recommends it, because they trust where you're going. That trust, the thing you spent years building when it produced no visible return, is now the most valuable asset on the balance sheet. More valuable than the equipment, more valuable than the subscriber count, more valuable than the deals currently sitting in your inbox. Because audiences can be borrowed with a good thumbnail. Trust has to be earned across hundreds of videos and years of not letting people down. You earned it. Now you're learning what it can actually build. Level 8, the industry legend. You're 35 years old. The channel is one of the most recognized in its category on the planet. Creators study your upload structure. Marketing departments analyze your retention curves. Conferences invite you to talk about things you figured out by failing at them for a decade. People call you successful. But success stopped feeling like a destination around year 7. Now it feels like a standard you're responsible for maintaining. The industry has transformed completely since you started. Platforms have shifted. Algorithms have been rebuilt from the ground up. Entire content formats have risen and collapsed. And yet here you are. Not because you chased every trend, because you learned the things underneath the trends. Storytelling, curiosity, the specific way human attention works when it's genuinely held versus merely caught. Those things don't change when the algorithm does. You've become known for something harder to measure than numbers. Consistency. Not consistency of upload schedule. Consistency of standard. The audience knows that when something goes out with your name on it, a certain level of care went into it. That reputation took a decade to build. One careless decision could damage it in a week. So you stay deliberate. You turn down the deals that don't fit. You reject the shortcuts that would cost you something you can't repurchase. Your influence has expanded beyond the platform. Books reference your approach to audience building. Business schools discuss your growth as a case study. People you've never met have built careers partly on things they learned from your content. The impact stopped being measurable a long time ago. And somewhere in that immeasurability, a new question arrived. Not, how do I grow? What remains when I'm gone? Level 9, the legacy. You're 42 years old. The channel is still active, but numbers haven't been the point for a long time. You walk into your studio in the morning. Not a bedroom, not a corner of a rented apartment. A real studio, built from years of work, staffed by people you trust, equipped with things you once described as goals in a notes app you still have somewhere. The cameras are better, the lighting is better, the team is better. Everything is better except one thing. The feeling is exactly the same. The same thing that drove the 15-year-old checking a video 40 times is still present in the 42-year-old reviewing a final cut at 11 p.m. The need to make something that matters to someone you've never met. That part didn't change. Over the years, your channel became something beyond content. Creators who learned from your videos now have millions of subscribers themselves. Some have audiences larger than yours. That doesn't diminish anything. It multiplies it. Because the goal was never to be the biggest channel. It was to understand this thing well enough to contribute something real to it. You contributed. One evening, you open your channel and scroll back to the beginning. The thumbnails are embarrassing. The audio is genuinely painful. The editing would not survive 10 seconds of modern scrutiny. You watch anyway, because hidden inside those terrible early videos is something worth seeing. A person who had no idea what they were doing it anyway. A person who failed publicly and kept going. A person who had 23 views and treated the work like it had 23 million. That person built everything that followed. Not talent, not luck, not a single viral moment or a favorable algorithm shift. The decision, made repeatedly, to keep going when the evidence for stopping was overwhelming. Somewhere right now, a 15-year-old is hitting publish on their first video. The thumbnail isn't right. The hook doesn't land. The audio has a ceiling fan in it. The views are going to be low. They're going to check those views 40 times. They're going to doubt everything. Most will stop, but a few won't. A few will open the analytics instead of closing the tab. A few will make another one, and another. And in 27 years, one of them will sit in a studio they built from nothing, scrolling back to a video with 23 views, and understand, finally, completely, what those 23 views were actually worth. Everything. They were worth everything.